Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Pada Shankaram Lokashankaram Samasthajanakalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkrupatamaham Vande Paramanandamadhavam Paramanandamadhavam Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavati Ashtadashadhyayini Amba Tvamanusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshini. In the Atma Bodha, we had seen the basic concepts of Vedanta. What are the concepts? What are the definitions? What are the important foundations of Vedanta? That we covered in the Atma Bodha. In the Bhagavad Gita, we have the following chapters which are part of this course. Chapter 2, Chapter 15 and Chapter 18. Chapter 2 is the complete message of the Bhagavad Gita, but from the standpoint of what is going to come. Summary in prospect. Whole Bhagavad Gita in prospect. Chapter 18 is summary in retrospect. What is going to come, the whole chapter 2 onwards, the message of the Gita starts. Up to chapter 18. So chapter 18, what it does, it summarizes the entire Bhagavad Gita from the perspective of what has been taught, what is to be taught, and what has been taught. What is to be taught will have a separate flavor, a different flavor. What has been taught will also have a separate, distinct flavor. So in the second chapter, you have everything presented in a certain concise manner. In the 18th chapter, after teaching everything, see, knowledge is meant to practice. Knowledge is meant to live the knowledge. What is the point knowing something if we can't apply it in our life? So in the 18th chapter, apart from summarizing the essential thoughts, Bhagavan Sri Krishna makes a special effort to guide us in the practice of the knowledge, guide us to apply this knowledge. So the beauty of the 18th chapter is this application perspective, because everything is taught. Now, what's the essence? How to apply it? Okay. In chapter 2, what is going to be taught? Chapter 18, what has been taught and how do you apply it in your life? That is chapter 18. Chapter 15, what we saw after completing chapter 2, is also a summary, but it is a very high level summary. It's a very concise, precise, very the main essential points alone. And see, second chapter also the main essential points, 18th chapter also is the main essential points. But 15th chapter is how? 15th chapter is the essential points of the essential points. The essence of the essence. That's why Bhagavan Shri Krishna himself at the end would say of the 15th chapter, Iti guhyatamam shastram. This is the entire shastra I have given you. In a very, and that's the shortest, one of the shortest chapters of the Bhagavad Gita is the 15th chapter. Apart from the 12th chapter, the 15th chapter. Though both of them have the same number of verses, 20. Nevertheless, the 15th chapter has got a certain meter which will employ extra syllables. And therefore, it is short, but the shortest will go to the 12th chapter. Verse-wise, both of them are short, verses-wise. But the meter-wise, 12th chapter gets that honor, so to say. So the 18th chapter is summarization plus application. And just before as we are starting now the 18th chapter, what we have completed now is the Mundaka Upanishad. Mundaka Upanishad is also beautiful because Mundaka Upanishad is also a kind of broad-based or all topics included Upanishad. That is the beauty of. So whatever we have taken up in the Vedanta Vijanana Course has got this one important point as a thread, and that is what? Essence. Essence. The essence. So everywhere the essence. Keeping that in mind, the course has been constructed this manner to help us grasp the essence. So now we are in the 18th chapter, and as we start the 18th chapter, we invoke the grace and blessings of Lord Jagadishvara. Right in the campus we have a temple, Lord Jagadishvara, most beautiful. I'm sure all of you have. Is there anyone who has not seen the temple, gone to the temple? You should just visit the temple. So we invoke the grace of Lord Jagadishvara. We invoke the grace and blessings of Sri Swami Taponamji, our Gurudev's Guru, our Parama Guru. We invoke the grace and blessings of Puja Gurudev, Swami Chinmayananji. We invoke the grace and blessings of Puja Guruji, Swami Tejomayanji. We invoke the grace and blessings of Sri Swami Swarupananji, the present head of the Chinmaya mission. So, with the grace and blessings of the entire Guru Parampara and the Lord, we also take a firm resolve that this teaching of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, we will try to understand to the best of our capacity, and we will live it in our life. We will practice it in our life. We will not only understand, but also stand under. And thus imbibe the teachings by actually living the teachings. And for this, we invoke the grace and blessings of the Lord and the Guru. And thus, we start. All of you should have in your hand this book with you. The Bhagavad Gita Chapter 18. Okay? This has got the commentary of Gurudev Swami Chinmayananji. All of you should have this book. Because not only are you going to use this book for studying here, when we read the verses, but you also will have to go through the verses before whatever we have completed, before you come to the next class. Is there anyone here who's sitting who's not having this book in hand? Very few of you. Please ensure that before you leave, you have the book in your hand. And those of you who have this book already at your home, please do bring it. Okay? You should also have with you a notebook, because there will be lots of points which you may want to note down and you would like to reflect upon. Okay? So feel free to take your notes. And what is expected of you is after you go back, after the session gets over, you go back. Then in your home, you have 1 week time. So whatever notes you have taken, you please reflect upon them. Read Gurudev's commentary and make your own understanding also. So that understanding should be based on what you have studied here, what the commentary of Gurudev, what we will study afterwards. And then from that you should make your own comprehension. What are the essential points you got? Okay? And then you also give a thought, how will I apply this in my life? So that week, the week you're coming, you're applying at least one facet of this knowledge. That should be there. Okay? And in case while you're listening to the session you miss out something or you could not fully grasp what was said, you want to re-listen to that, all of them are available in your dashboard. Those of you who are coming on site, if you're coming, meaning those of you who are present here, you will have the audio. Those who have registered online, they get the video. Okay? So, I'm addressing because online also there are many students studying. They will be having the video. Don't try, not that you are trying to miss it. Occasionally you may feel like missing, try to avoid that. Whatever it is there, coming and studying here at Sandipani, right here, will be very different from whatever you study if you miss it with the audio or the video. Of course, something is better than nothing. Therefore, but I also heard a nice statement. Something is better than nothing, but nothing is better than nonsense. Right. So, invoking the Lord's grace and the Guru's blessings, we start. The 18th chapter starts with the question of Arjuna. The question of Arjuna is reflective of his own personal contemplation of what the Lord has said so far. When Arjuna, when he started as a broken personality. It was so difficult for him even to stand. The most mighty warrior of the times, highly competent, extremely capable, and who was looked upon by the society as a person who is to be emulated, a Shrestha Purusha. Such an Arjuna, he lost his balance. He estimated things he estimated the war, he estimated his duty from the standpoint of I and my. He lost the objectivity. And situations which are difficult, situations are situations. How you estimate it, how you connect with it, the situation becomes difficult, becomes a challenging one, and becomes sometimes impossible to cope up. And all this happened not because the situation was difficult actually. Arjuna is a mighty warrior, nothing impossible for him. Of course, difficult situations are there, but the situation became an impossible situation to Arjuna only because He was seeing everything from the lens of the I and the my. So he loses his perspective and then he collapses. The story of the Gita is well known to all of you. So he collapses and then he says, I cannot do anything. And then he surrenders to the Lord. Shishyasteham shadimaham tvam prapannam. And then Bhagavan starts the teaching from the chapter 2, 11th verse onwards. First he talks to Arjuna as though he is mocking. Mocks, so to say mocks, not that he is mocking or anything. Bhagavan is trying to cajole him to wake up from the slumber of tamas. Right? Ashochyananva shochastvam prajnavadansya bhashase gatasuna gatasunsha nanu shochanti panditaha. Arjuna, you know what? You know what the sign of wisdom is? The sign of wisdom is not how much eloquently you talk. You know what is the sign of wisdom? The sign of wisdom is not how much you know what you know. That's also not the sign of wisdom. You know what is the sign of wisdom? And you know what is the sign of ignorance? One who grieves is ignorant. The wise grieve not. Wisdom is absence of sorrow. Wisdom is absence of grief. Pain is something, grief is another thing. A mosquito bites. There is obviously some irritation, some pain would be there. Or a scorpion bites, definitely there's going to be a lot of pain. Pain is expected in life. But grief is a subjectivity, is an internalization of that pain in a very subjective manner because of which you are trapped in it. Grief is different, pain is different. All of us will go through pain. Nobody can escape from pain. We try to minimize our pain, but pain will be there. Some pains are caused by physical ailments also. Some pains are caused by some loss and some. Everyone who was born would die one day. And we also have our parents passing by. Yes, that is there. Sometimes those whom we really love, we lose them. And it's not age is what determines somebody's living also. So many factors are involved. Accidents are there. So many things over which we have no control is there. So many difficulties happen to everyone in life. It's not that Bhagavan Sri Krishna, even though we always see Bhagavan Krishna as smiling, laughing, jovial, but his life did not show such kind of thing. He was born in a prison. He went through very tough times. Right from his young age, from his infancy onwards, his uncle wanted to kill him. You know, situation very different. But always we see Bhagavan Sri Krishna as a happy, we never think of sorrow and Sri Krishna together. He's always a joyous personality. Pain is different, grief is different, sorrow is different. To grieve and to be sorrowful is an indication of ignorance. Because you are looking at things very subjectively. When we objectively look at things, we'll be able to rise above all kinds of pains. We'll be able to accept things as they are. One is we make mountains out of molehills, that is one thing. Another is we'll see a mountain to be a mountain. Yeah, it's difficult to solve, yeah. But what's there to grieve about it? It's difficult to solve. Do you think by grieving you become expert to solve? In fact, you lose your capacity to solve. Intelligence is lost. So Arjuna here grieves. shoka. And wisdom is to cross over sorrow and grief. Tarati shokam atmavid. The knower of the self crosses over sorrow. So the only one question Arjuna, Bhagavan Shri Krishna tells Arjuna, Arjuna, you speak very nicely. Your discourses are very good. The whole first chapter was Arjuna's discourse. Bhagavan says, you speak very intelligent words, but you show no sign of wisdom. Because the true sign of wisdom is a smile. The true sign of wisdom is a cheerful heart. And from then onwards, the teaching starts. The second chapter we saw Bhagavan Shri Krishna's teaching about the nature of the self. And he took so many perspectives, from the perspective of the self, from the perspective of the individual, from the perspective of the body, from the perspective of the world, from the perspective of duty. Every perspective he took. And he showed Arjuna from every perspective, grief is not valid. Natvam shochitum arhasi, natvam shochitum arhasi, natvam shochitum arhasi. Bhagavan went on hammering on this point that there's no reason to grieve, there's no reason to grieve, there's no reason to grieve. And that slowly educated Arjuna on so many aspects of life. Took Arjuna through the concepts of knowledge, effective action, devotion, intelligence, the vision of the Lord everywhere, meditation. There's no point left out. Such a beautiful presentation of every facet of life. Knowledge with respect to every facet of life. Amazing achievement. Bhagavan Shri Krishna, he could present the whole tapestry of every facet of spiritual wisdom in these chapters up to 17. Actually, you leave aside the first chapter because Bhagavan said not a word there. Only Arjuna said. The teaching starts from the 11th verse of the chapter 2. So from 2 to 17, which is how many? 15 chapters. Bhagavan communicates the whole knowledge. And Arjuna has listened to everything. Arjuna has been a very, very good student all throughout. I mean, yes, even before he was a good student in the University of Dronacharya, he was a good student. But now, Arjuna's capacity as student is very evident as you see what questions he asks, how he expresses his practical difficulties. When Bhagavan Shri Krishna speaks of meditation and explains the whole meditation, Arjuna at the end says, all these things is very nice, but I don't think I can practice this. It's not possible for me. Practical questions also Arjuna is asking, apart from theoretical questions. And wherever there was a need, when Bhagavan Shri Krishna posed certain terms, just to see whether Arjuna is alert enough to ask questions about them, Arjuna immediately asked those questions. Chapter 7, he put some terms, and chapter 8, Arjuna asked some questions. Exactly on all of them. So Arjuna has been a very, very attentive student and very fast learning student. And after listening to the whole teaching, Arjuna is now asking, I want clarification on certain terms, on certain concepts, what you have used, and which are pertinent to my life from now onwards. And I want to understand them from the overall perspective of the philosophy behind them. Because you have used these terms repeatedly. And I have watched how you have used those terms. You have used those terms, I found them, you are using certain terms in a certain context. Even though both the words mean the same, the way you are using those words has got a context connected with those terms. I can give you one example. Take Gurudev's usage of these two terms, contemplation, meditation. Those of you who have studied the literature of Gurudev, Swami Chinmayananda, Puja Gurudev, you will find two words used there, contemplation, meditation. Dictionary meaning for both contemplation and meditation is the same. Synonyms also, you say contemplate, meditate, it will come as synonyms. But Gurudev uses these two words in a certain specific context. Meditation, Gurudev uses for transcendence, the state where the mind has been transcended. Meditation. And contemplation, Gurudev uses it for all the efforts which go for this. Gurudev would say, meditation is a noun. It's not a verb. To meditate is a verb. To contemplate is a verb. But then the usage of the word, meditation is a state. Meditation is a noun. It's not a doing. It is a being. And then when it goes to the word contemplation, even though dictionary-wise both these words mean the same, but the way Gurudev uses the word contemplation, all those exercises in contemplation. There's also a book, Exercises in Contemplation. But meditation is a state of being. It's not a doing. So even though these two words mean the same, but in the literature of His Holiness Swami Chinmayananda, you will see the words have got a different connotation. This is possible for somebody, this observation is possible for someone who has carefully gone through. Is it not? Not for everyone. Somebody may not even catch the point. But one who has gone through the literature of Swamiji, Gurudev, he would say, this author uses this word in this sense. And he uses this word in this sense. This demands a certain perceptivity, demands a certain intuitive appreciation of what one has studied. You find the same appreciation Arjuna is expressing. You can see that. You can appreciate Arjuna. So this question is for Arjuna because he has gone through all the chapters very carefully, the teachings very, very carefully. But it's not just a theoretical question of two words and what they imply according to the context. These two words, the beauty of these two words is that they summarize the entirety of the Bhagavad Gita. So understanding these two words, you have got the message of the Gita. That's the beauty. Swamiji, two words, you have told too many times now. What are those two words? I will want Arjuna himself to say that. Okay? So when we read the question of Arjuna, we will see those two words. But here, these two words summarizes the entirety of the Bhagavad Gita and the application of Bhagavad Gita in our life. And based on these two words, Bhagavan Sri Krishna builds a topic. And as he builds the topic, he brings in all the important concepts he has covered all through the Gita, because these two words are not only these two words of this chapter, because these two words are reflective of the entire teaching what Bhagavan himself has given. So Bhagavan now, through these two words and the exposition of these two words, he weaves in all those thoughts and concepts covered through the entire tapestry of the Bhagavad Gita, which tapestry is the essence of all Upanishads, and which tapestry is the essence of the whole Veda itself. So, in studying the 18th chapter, you get not only the essence of the Bhagavad Gita, you get the essence of the entire Vedic teaching. And above and all, you also get to see how you can apply the Bhagavad Gita in your daily life. And thus, this chapter really stands tall among all the chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, and that is why we have kept this chapter at the conclusion of the Vedanta Vijanana Course. Okay? Now that we have seen a basic introduction into the 18th chapter, let us go to the chapter. We start with Arjuna's question. Okay? Arjuna Uvacha. So how you will be doing is that she will be, Brahmachari Rugantani will be chanting the verse, pada by pada, quarter by quarter. You will repeat it, and then finally we will all chant it together once. And then afterwards, the usual way we have done so far, we start.
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha Atha Ashtadashodhyayaha Moksha Sannyasa Yogaha. Please repeat after me. Arjuna Uvacha
Arjuna Uvacha
Sannyasasya Mahabaho
Sannyasasya Mahabaho
Tattvamiccami Veditum
Tattvamiccami Veditum
Tyagasya cha Rishikesha
Tyagasya cha Rishikesha
Prithakkeshi Nishudana.
Prithakkeshi Nishudana.
Together.
Arjuna Uvacha Sannyasasya Mahabaho Tattvamiccami Veditum Tyagasya cha Rishikesha Prithakkeshi Nishudana. Sannyasasya Mahabaho Tattvam Ichchami Veditum Tyagasya cha Hrishikesha Prithak Keshi Nishudana. Mahabaho. This address usually you will find Bhagavan Shri Krishna telling Arjuna, hey Mahabaho. Now you have Arjuna telling to Bhagavan Shri Krishna, hey Mahabaho. This expression Mahabaho means what? Of long arms. Mahabaho. Up to the Janu. You have those words to Bhagavan Rama also. Coming up to the Janu. Ajana Bahu and all the words are used. Our Gurudev also was like that. Long arms coming up to the knees. Ajana Bahu. This word is a very good address, especially for the Kshatriyas, the warriors. So Ajana Bahu is used there. Bhagavan Rama was also Ajana Bahu. So this is to say, Mahabaho, what it signifies also, not just a physical structure, one with long arms. That's not the point. Oh, great warrior. And here, interestingly, Bhagavan Shri Krishna has decided not to wage war. He is only a charioteer. But he is a great warrior, Shri Krishna. Hey Mahabaho, addressing Bhagavan Shri Krishna, what does Arjuna say? Sannyasasya tattvam ichchami veditum. He doesn't stop with that. Tyagasya cha rishikesha. Tyagasya cha rishikesha. Prithakkeshi nishudana. I would like also the distinction being made out. So what are the two terms here you can see? Sannyasa, Tyaga. These two terms mean the same in Sanskrit. A dictionary, if you go, Sannyasa, Tyaga. Tyaga, Sannyasa. These both words mean the same. Sannyasi, you speak about someone who was renounced. Tyagi, renunciate. So these two terms, what does he say? He says, I want to know the tattva. I want to know tattva. Tattva means I want to know their exact nature. Tasya bhavaha tattvam. I want to know its yathatmya, its exact nature I want to know. And how do I want to know? Pratak. Because these words, they mean the same, but I have seen that you are using these two terms in a certain context repeatedly. Not necessarily, because the words mean the same and therefore it could be used in both, in this way or that way also. The word tyaga can be used for sannyasa and the word sannyasa can also be used for tyaga, because Sanskrit-wise both these words mean the same. But I have seen, I have observed all through the teaching that you have been using these words in a certain context, almost always. And therefore, I want to know what exactly the heart of these words. What is the truth behind those words? And when I say I want to know the truth, I want also to understand the overall context wherein you have used all these words, but I want you to tell me in such a manner that I'm able to see the word in the background of the knowledge that you have given me. You please explain to me. What are the contexts in which Bhagavan Shri Krishna has used the word sannyasa and tyaga? You will find the word sannyasa, Bhagavan Shri Krishna almost always uses it with respect to actions. Almost always. And the word tyaga almost always in the context of the renunciation of the fruits of action. So you have action and you have fruits. Fruits means results. Nobody undertakes an action without having a result in mind. Nobody can and nobody should. And if anybody does without keeping the result in mind and undertakes an action, you know such a person is a crazy fellow. No action is undertaken without the result in mind. Why did you all come here? Action. You came here. Why did you come here? I'm going to study something new here, is it not? I'm going to learn something. I'm going to go to Sandipani, the Gurukula of the Chinmaya mission, to learn. I'm going to go to that ashram of Gurudev Swami Chinmayananji. Meaning, I want to study the Bhagavad Gita. I want to study the 18th chapter. So, always there is a reason for doing. A reason for doing. And if the reason for doing goes wrong, then the action also can go wrong. And a wise person, an intelligent person, let us say, he tries to align the action as much as possible to the result. And he calibrates the action also according to how the results are panning out. It's not that always the result comes at the end of the action. As the action goes on also, you can see the results coming. And if you find the results are not up to mark, you can calibrate your actions. You can increase the actions, decrease the action. You can curtail a certain action. You can change the course of the action. So many things you can do. Action, results, they always are there. And Bhagavan Shri Krishna has always used sannyasa, which means renunciation, tyaga, which also means renunciation. Tyaga, to give up, sannyasa, to give up. Grammatically, if you look, tyaga comes the root tyaj, to give up. Sannyasa comes the root sam plus ni plus as, to give up again. As, to throw, but sam plus ni joining together as prefixes. It means also to give up. So both the words, they literally mean give up, but I see you have used the word sannyasa with respect to giving up of the action. And tyaga, I see you have used it with respect to giving up the results of action. So now I see a pattern in your presentation. So I would like to know, what is the tattva? What is the truth of these two? Because these words mean the same, but I can see the way you use it. You have a certain sense about it. Otherwise, why would you prefer to use one word in one context, another word, another context? That means you have certain backing, no? You have certain comprehension, you have certain idea, you have a certain reason why you're using it. Therefore, Bhagavan, tattvam ichchami veditum. I want to know the tattva. So, karma sannyasa, karma pala tyaga. Karma pala tyaga. Let me just cite for you certain verses in order that you also see how Bhagavan Sri Krishna used the word sannyasa and tyaga. For example, chapter 5, verse 1. Just I'm citing, in case you know these verses, you will appreciate it better. In case you have not studied those chapters, still you will be able to see why Arjuna has asked this question. 5.1. Sannyasam karmanam Krishna. Renunciation of karma. Sannyasa karmanam Krishna. Again, chapter 5, verse number 2. Tayostu karma sannyasa. Karma yogo vishishyate. Karma sannyasa. Sarva karmani manasa. Sannyasyaaste sukham vashi. Again, sannyasa, going with karma. Mai sarvani karmani sannyasyaadhyatma chetas. Sannyasa, going with karma. Can you see that? Now you go to tyaga, you will see. 5th chapter. Yukta karma phalam tyaktva. Tyaga. Tyaga only is tyaktva, having renounced. Then, sarva karma phala tyagam tata kuru yatatmavan. 12th chapter, verse 11. Or 12th chapter, verse 12. Dhyanat karma phala tyagaha. Again, you can see karma phala used with tyaga. This is almost always this kind of usage is there. So, Bhagavan, please tell me, what is the essence of sannyasa? What is the truth of sannyasa? And what is the truth of this tyaga? You will find in Gurudev's commentary, in order to differentiate these two words which literally mean the same, Gurudev uses two words. For sannyasa, he uses the word renunciation. And for tyaga, he uses the word abandonment. You can see that. But renunciation, abandonment, to renounce, to abandon. You can see that. It has got, these two words are not different. These two words are not different. It's not like you see, it's not like, what can I say? In Sanskrit we use ghata pata vat. We use these phrases. Ghata is a pot. Pata is a cloth. Ghata pata vat. They are two different things. It's not like man and animal. Or it's not like plant and, let's say, a tree and a building. They're very different. It's not like that. These two words have a certain common sense. but nevertheless their usage. One goes with sannyasa. Sannyasa goes with action, and tyaga goes with the result of action. Giving up the result of action, meaning giving up insistence on the result of action, because nobody can give up the result of action. You start an action keeping the result in mind, and when you do an action, you always keep the result in mind to calibrate it. But karma yoga is giving up the result of action. Karma palatyaga. Karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma palahetur bhu ma te sangostva karmani. So what is this giving up the result of action? Giving up the result of action is to be free of insistence with respect to the results of action. To do for a result is nothing wrong. To do for a result is nothing wrong. But to be so overburdened with the result is also to fail in the action. To be mentally preoccupied with the result is very different than to be attentive of the result. Mental preoccupation is one thing. Being overwhelmed by the result is one thing. In Sanskrit, we have a word, duragraha. This is dangerous. But to be attentive of the result, nothing wrong about it. Nothing wrong about it. Because that is the right way of doing. You can't do without keeping the result in mind. Let's say even cooking also. You know what kind of taste you want, is it not? The food. And in between when you cook, in between you take a bit and taste, what are you doing? You are only seeing whether the result has come properly or not, correct? Oh, salt is more now, kya kare abhi? Salt is less, you can add. Salt is more, it's a big task now. And probably, I'm not sure, take a little buttermilk, probably put there and see. Or take some, certain things like vadagam and all those things. Papadam and all, put and see if you can take the salt off a little bit. You try. So many things you try. The result is always kept. But suppose, you're over-excited about the result, what will happen? The action will not come out proper. A student who goes to the exam, okay, he also, anybody who writes an examination, a test or anything, they want good marks for sure. But suppose the student is so much tensed about the result, then will the student be able to write the test properly? No. A simple example, you are all here coming, you are all studying. Suppose you are so much restless. I should understand everything. Then will you be able to listen properly? No. There should be a carefreeness when we work for the result to come out proper. There should be a certain carefreeness. Should be there. The mind should be relaxed. And what causes agitation in the mind is almost always the preoccupation with the results. Preoccupation with the result is a single known factor to destroy effective action. Action should be purposeful. We are not asking purposeless action. But that very action loses its capacity. It loses its perfection. The action loses its beauty because of preoccupation with the result. In Karma Yoga, what one does is that one says, Bhagavan, I offer the result unto you. Success or failure, I accept it as your prasad. I accept it as your gift to me, and I'll accept it. Not that the karma yogi is not having a result in mind, but what he does is that he says, Bhagavan, I will do my best, and I know whatever is going to come as a result will be good for me only. So with this faith in the Lord, devotion unto the Lord, he exercises his intelligence. He becomes free of the botheration of the result, and he does the action to the best of his capacity. And everyone's capacity may differ. He does it to the best of the capacity, and whatever results are there, he accepts it, cheerfully accepts it. This is Karma Yoga. So this is called as Karma Palatyaga. Karma Palatyaga. See, you see the word Tyaga? Karma Palatyaga. Karma Sannyasa. Karma Palatyaga. Very rarely we will say Karma Pala Sannyasa. Usage you see. Not that it is wrong. You can use the word Sannyasa there also. Like how Karma Tyaga may be used. But the usual usage is what? Karma Sannyasa. Karma Pala Tyaga. Usage. Bhagavan Shri Krishna, this is how he uses. Repeatedly uses, as you saw a few verses. Now Arjuna says, now you tell me the core of these. What is the core of this Tyaga? What is the truth of this Tyaga? What is the truth of Sannyasa? Because can we really give up karma? You please think. Can we give up action? Sit quiet. That's also an action. Even when we have gone to sleep, we are not doing anything. There are so many things that are happening. Breathing is happening, it's an action. Lying down itself is an action. And as we are sleeping also, blood is circulation is action. The food we have eaten for dinner is getting digested, that is an action. So what is this sannyasa, karma sannyasa? Bhagavan has said, so many places he has said, karmani akarmaya pashed, akarmani cha karmaya. He has discussed all these points before. Now Arjuna is not asking, I want to know something, a new thing. No. Whatever you have taught me only. But there also Bhagavan has discussed about sannyasa. What is actually sannyasa? What is actually sannyasa? Of course, there's a little sannyasa. Like for example, I'm a sannyasin. You can see that. I wear a sannyasi, girva, clothes, etc. But what is the truth of sannyasa? Because is there anyone who can actually give up all action? Yes. There are some people who have actually given up all action. And if I have to show you that, I have to take you to the burial ground. There some people are body is burnt, or either they they are buried. I mean, the only time when action is not there is not even in sleep, Only death. Because action is the insignia of life. And therefore, what is the core of sannyasa? Because sannyasa is there. I am a sannyasin. Nobody can say I am not a sannyasin. I am wearing a cloth also. But what is the core of that sannyasa? What is that? What is the core? What is the essence of karma palatyaga? And what is the essence, core of karma sannyasa? Please tell me. Arjuna had requested Bhagavan Shri Krishna, Bhagavan, I cannot fight this war. I am going to renounce. I am going to go away. That was Arjuna's. I hate this. I hate this work of mine. What? I have to kill my own grandfather. I have to kill my own teacher, Dronacharya. I hate it. I want to give up. I want to go. I want to renounce. I want to renounce. I want to be a sannyasin. And Bhagavan said, this is not sannyasa. Sannyasa is very different. Sannyasa is not liking or disliking. Yona dveshti na kankshati. Your sannyasa is because of dislike. How can this be sannyasa? This is not. Neyassa nitya sannyasi yo nadveshti na kangshati. He is a true sannyasin who neither loves nor hates, who either has likes or dislikes. I want to know, that sannyasa in its core I want to know. I want to know the essence of it. I want to know the truth of it. I want to know the basis of it. I want to know the foundations of it. I want to see the truth of it, so that I'm able to appreciate the whole concept in the totality of its presentation. And when I can see the truth of it, I can really understand whatever you taught me so far. In other words, I want to know the heartbeat of Tyaga, and I want to know the heartbeat of Sannyasa. You tell me. I have understood the concepts, what you have told me, all the chapters and all. I have understood everything. But I want to know the crux, the core. Right? We take a fruit and then you crush it, press it, then you get the juice of it. And that also you solidify it. And then you keep it in the fridge. And after 8 months, no season, this is not the season for mango, you take it and then you make that juice and you give to the guest. Where did you get the mango juice? Because it's not looking like that, shop one. The taste is very different. How? Because once you get the crux, everything becomes clear. Even concepts become clear if you see the crux. Once you know the crux, you can expand. Then it is in your control. You can use this, you can use it also for your puri, you can make things out of that, and then you can have puri. Same one, same concentrate what you have. And you can make it a juice also. It's all up to you, because you have the crux with you. The essence is there. Then anything you can do. You can play with it. You can, multiple ways you can use it. Because it's the essence. I want to know the essence. I know all the concepts. Everything you explained. I have understood everything. And the beauty of Arjuna is that he is able to reduce the whole Bhagavad Gita into 2 concepts now. Tyaga, Sannyasa. Because the entire teaching of the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan is able to get it into 2 words. Very difficult. Suppose I ask you, entire Mundaka Upanishad, tell me in 2 words, what will you tell? 2 words. I want in 2 words you should tell me the whole Mundaka Upanishad, what you studied. You will be very happy to write an essay on it. But 2 words difficult. I don't know who it was. I think it was Abraham Lincoln or somebody. I don't know who it is. Maybe I'm wrong. Or Churchill. I don't know who it was. He said, if I have to speak for, so many hours, I can speak now. If you want me to speak for 2 hours, I can speak now. If you want me to speak for 5 minutes, give me a week to prepare. And if you want me to speak in 1 minute, I need a month to prepare. I don't know who it was, but anyone knows? Okay, thank you. We are all same boat only. Something like this, to this effect. Right? So, Arjuna is saying, I want the crux of the whole thing. You give me. The beauty is of Arjuna, you can see he has, the whole Bhagavad Gita is captured in 2 words. Tyaga, Sannyasa. And he says, give me the essence. Tyagasya cha rishikesha. So, sannyasasya mahabaho tattvamichhami veditum. I would like to know the tattva of sannyasa. So also tyagasya cha. So, tyagasya cha tattvam ichhami veditum. Hey Rishikesha. Rishikesha is another name for Sri Krishna. Rishika is senses. Rishikesha means Lord of the senses. Meaning one whose senses or mind are totally in control and mastery. Rishikesha. Tyagasya cha Rishikesha. And I would like, if possible, to know it differentiated, pratak. Even though these two words, they mean the same. But by the way you have used, I know you have a certain sense about it. So please differentiate and show it to me. And then one more word to address Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Keshi Nishudana. I'm not sure whether any verse is there in the Bhagavad Gita like this where Bhagavan is addressed 3 times. Mahabaho, Rishikesha, Keshi Nishudana. You should check out. Is there any verse in the Bhagavad Gita where Bhagavan is called out 3 times? Keshi Nishudana. Keshi Nishudana, one who destroyed that maybe Rakshasa or one who destroyed by name Keshi, Asura Rakshasa. Keshi was a henchman of Kamsa, and this Rakshasa, he came in the form of a horse. He was troubling all the Vrajabhumi, all those Gokula, Vrindavan, he was all troubling everyone. Kamsa sent him. Bhagavan Sri Krishna killed him. That Asura who came in the form of a horse. And therefore Bhagavan Sri Krishna is called Keshi Nishudana. Wicked. The one who destroys the wicked. Okay? Hey Mahabaho, hey Rishikesha, hey Keshi Nishudana, please, I would love to hear from you what these concepts are in their depth, so that I can also practice all of them. Okay? With this we stop for the day. You also go through Gurudev's commentary and all and be ready for the next session. And as you all may be aware, or if you are not aware, usually after the session, there is also a group discussion. Those who are interested and those who would like to can join. In the group discussion, what happens is that whatever we have studied are re-reflected, rethought, so that fully you can get the ideas and concepts very clearly. Okay? Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.